Supply chain is one of the most in-demand business transaction in today's business world. As per the global data for supply chain market, it's about 23.2 billion from 2020 and is going to be increased by $41.7 billion. Now we can see the jump in number, like from 23 to 41. It's give us a clear indication what's happening in supply chain functions around the world. You can name some of the companies like DHL, FedEx. These companies are doing the supply chain process for maybe a decade. But now the practices which they have established in their supply chain process, now these processes are going to come in SMEs because the competition is tough and now the whole world has become a global village. Now we have to also understand why this much growth supply chain is expecting. Like there should be some fact should be there. So if we do the fact finding, like major factor behind this growth, then we will understand the most important player behind this growth is e-commerce. Like we all know, like the mobile commerce and the web-based business is growing leaps and bounds. As per the industry data analysis, like by 2021, the e-commerce market is going to be 4.89 trillion. Like every time a mobile commerce happens, the supply chain has to play the role because the platform is just doing a business transaction, but all the further movement is happening in supply chain world. Now the another factor which is making supply chain in headline and every company wants to integrate is because of the technology availability and integration. There are a lot of development happen in last 5 or 10 years which is making the supply chain more attractive, and the companies are looking to invest in this and getting benefited. Now some of the technology is like RFID, sensors, automation system, computer vision, AIs. Like we are here not going to discuss all each component, but these are the important technologies which is helping supply chain to get more acceptance in the market. Now the third thing which is really helping companies to invest, which is end-to-end visibility. Like if you go back, maybe whenever you have done any shipment, any document when you send by using FedEx and DHL, they have an online system. There you can go and see a visibility from the pickup to delivery. Like if the package is being picked up from Dubai for Houston, like it will give you the each timeline when it was picked up from office, when it was reached to the Dubai hub, when it's get loaded, when it reached Houston, then the Houston hub, then it's to the pickup guy, and then finally is delivered. Now this process was not very much available in normal day business. Now because of the e-commerce growth, this end-to-end visibility is getting more and more. Now the last one is the performance evaluation. Now because everything is in system and every transaction system timestamp is being captured, so now using the various data analytics tool, supply chain performance can be evaluated from A to Z. As we have seen in the previous discussion, like the supply chain growth is enormous. Now, when the industry is growing, it means the same time that a lot of job opportunities in the supply chain sector is also growing. Now, when the job comes, it attracts a lot of young talents to come into industry and also get benefited and secure the job. But as the supply chain is a very practical oriented job scenario, so the young minds which are getting graduated from the various colleges and institutions are always, when come into market, they have a situation like they have a bookish knowledge, but when it comes to the practical understanding about supply chain process, where they face a really tough competition, because organizations are always looking for individual who has a real clear approach about the supply chain process. So what we are going to discuss in the next further, like the whole process we are going to define, asking a question what is supply chain, and then trying to understand by example. As today's world everything moves around within the Google, so what I decided, let's go and type in Google what is supply chain management. Now Google has its own way to define the supply chain management because it's extracting from various blog and Wikipedia. So it says e-commerce supply chain management of the flow of goods and services between business and locations and so on. Same time, if you go and see the graphical view of supply chain understanding, you will get a lot of various models which is very difficult to understand in the beginning. Now supply chain is the one of the process which get along with every day of life. Every aspect you are doing in today's world, somewhere there is a supply chain process involved. So to understand what I created a 3 business transaction which we all can relate in our day-to-day life. Like the example is like this, like you have purchased a TV from shop. So if you do the shopping from a particular shop and material get delivered to your house, how this whole supply chain process works. So in this presentation I'm going to get into inside the whole process and how it works, where are the flows and how it can be fixed. We have another example which is the purchase equipment from China. Now this purchase process will have a different supply chain process completely. The third will be it's a purchase laptop from online, like the online purchasing process supply chain will be completely different. So in this presentation we are going to stick the first one, like when we purchase a TV from the shop. So let's understand how this process works. What you do, you visit the shop, you spend some time in the shop, select the product, then make a payment, provide the addresses, and then the scheduled delivery you get confirmed. These are the visible transactions which you are doing and you can relate it and you can see it. Now behind the scene, how the system and the supply chain process works when you leave the shop. Like there is a salesman who informed the warehouse, okay, like there is a sales. Now warehouse informed logistic to arrange the pickup. Now after that there is a schedule of delivery created, then the warehouse confirm, next day metal get picked up and then went to delivery, and finally delivery happens and then the customer get confirmation. Now you have to see how many communication is happening to complete this process. Like there is a salesman, there is a warehouse guy, then you go to different people. Now this whole process, it's a manual. So when supply chain process is not optimized, what happen? All communication between stakeholders cannot be monitored or tracked because it's happening between person to person. Now what we are doing, we are using phone to communicate, WhatsApp to communicate, and the email to communicate. Now all above communication happen between two persons and it cannot be shared in a proper manner, and this create a major problem in data visibility. It means all the communication which is happening, which is not visible to everybody. The most important one is to customer, like it's happening within the department inside to each other. Now if we have to understand the flow in a process, like where are the chances of error, like take example, the salesman can inform to the warehouse, and on that time he can provide a wrong code. Now the warehouse can inform logistic department, and there is a chances he can do a mistake, like providing a wrong providing a wrong delivery address. So there are everywhere where there is a manual transaction is happening, there is a chances of error, like wrong type of vehicle can be arranged. At the same time the delivery can be missed. You can keep continue further where the wrong metal is picked up, and then the wrong delivery address can be given. So what happened when error occur in the SCM process? Okay, we have to see into deep, like what is the effect, like the customer service get affected, and then loss of customer and loss of revenue. So we have to understand the repercussion if something go wrong. Now how we can eliminate the chances of error? Now understand the existing process, this is the first core thing. Then the second thing is identify the process weak links, like where there are chances where the error can happen. Map all process in system, like you must have a IT system to control everything. The manual business is not going to help to optimize the supply chain process. Now what the system and how the system should do, like supply chain application should be available on the mobile mode so people can communicate from anywhere. Then it should be available on the laptop and PC, so whoever has a fixed office environment they can work from there. And then same time it should be also the some of the part of the application should be handheld device, like picking the material from the warehouse shelf and these places. So the system should be designed in such a way so it should work on various different kind of different kind of devices which can be used in different places. Like what is the main objective of SCM application? The main objective of SCM application is the first of all capture the sales, then manage the operation, third control the whole warehousing process, inventory and everything, and then track the deliveries. At the end what you are going to do, if you are managing everything, then at the end of day you are making customer happy. So we can say you are going to make customer smile because you done a commitment and that commitment worked and you have delivered the service or goods as per your commitment. Now the next about purchasing from equipment will follow in the next slide.